Hi and welcome back to Joe Talks Cars and welcome to what is going to be an awesome video ahead. Today I'm going to be driving my car all the way up to the north of Scotland, over 375 miles. So I'm going to be setting off here in Filey. So we've got a very long drive, but I am going to stop off at York first of all to get some fuel, because fuel prices around here are way more expensive, especially for 99 RON fuel. Those of you who have watched the latest episode of Top Gear will know exactly where I'm going. So it's near that lighthouse that was shown. Unfortunately we can't drive on that particular road because they're digging it up, so unless miracles happen, there won't be any content on the lighthouse. I'm just going to try and bring you along for the journey with me, to give you an idea from an owner's perspective how well this car copes on a long drive, and how much MPG it gets. That may seem quite boring, but I think it'd be quite interesting to find out what the final figure is. We'll be driving through some beautiful scenery up there, going through Glencoe, and that type of thing, so I will do my best to get the GoPros out, capture the best moments. So stick with me, it's going to be a long one, so let's head straight to York, get filled up, and we'll carry on our journey. Very quick update then, so I've arrived in York, filled up the car. Unfortunately there was no 99 fuel available, so it had to be 95, so I'm gutted about that. But I will be taking it steady, so it'll be fine. And once we get a bit further into Scotland, hopefully I can get some more. So what I'm going to do now is just reset the trip computer so we can see what MPG this thing gets. So as you can see with the MPG that it was doing, which I think is about 21, you get 393 miles to a tank, so it's not too bad. What was it doing? 21.9, that's what it sits at. So we're just going to go in and reset. I'll just reset all. So we shall now see. That number should climb a little bit, but probably not a massive amount, to be honest. Something I do keep getting asked is about how practical this car is, and it's extremely practical. You can get so much stuff in it, it's just unbelievable. I'll just take you around the outside of the car and show you what I've managed to cram into it today, because we're going for at least 2 weeks, so there's quite a bit of stuff in here. Right, so I've brought my supply of oil, obviously. Under there I've got a massive bag of clothes. I really should have packed this and filmed it at the same time. My wife's taking our child up there, so we've got all the baby stuff in here. There's hairdryer. It's honestly, it's full, but the best way to pack your clothes is just bin bags. Much easier to get it in. We've even got a baby bath in there. Loads of shoes. It's absolutely rammed full. No more will fit into there. Round the back, very similar story. It's pretty full. Got more of the baby stuff. Sterilising machine, loads of coats, bulbs, because I had to swap a bulb before we came, and my toolkit. I never go anywhere without a toolkit. Never. Because I always feel like something will go wrong with the car that would just take a 10mm socket, and if you don't have it with you, you end up having to call the RAC, and it'd be really annoying. Right, so that's it. I'm going to head straight to Carlisle now. I'm not going to do much filming. I'm going to put the GoPro in, but I'm not going to do much filming until we get through to Scotland, because the scenery isn't that good until you get there. So, and it's a long drive. I just really need to get my foot down now. But I will update at Carlisle on the MPG and what the car's been like, really. Well, a bit of a change of plan actually. I was meant to stop at Carlisle and give you a bit of an update on how the journey was going, how the MPG was going, but unfortunately I missed the turning for Carlisle services, and then my wife rang me and said she'd been pulled by the police. So a top tip from me would be make sure that your car's MOT'd before you set off, because our Golf's MOT ran out on the 8th of March. So well deserved the pullover, £100 fine, and there's no excuses really. I just didn't check. I think with lockdown and everything, it's just kind of, it's just slipped my mind. There's no excuse for that really. Anyway, I've just pulled over. We're just about to head towards Glencoe now. Just come past the Welly stop, which is somewhere that people stop just before they come here. I've never stopped there personally, but it's a very, very popular place to stop, and it's good for just a quick drink before you set off into the Highlands. The car's performing really, really well. We came through some stunning scenery. I'll put some on the screen now. We came through Loch Lomond, although it was really busy. It was really, really nice little drive. We couldn't really get over 40 miles an hour, but it's not the type of road you want to be speeding on anyway. In terms of the tyres, you might have seen my previous video. I've had some new tyres fitted. I had some Michelin PS4S's fitted, and today is the first proper drive out I've been able to have, testing the tyres on all different road types and conditions. Well, initial impressions are really, really good. They're holding the road beautifully, even in the wet. Not really had the car up to any sort of decent speed on any bends yet, but the ones that have, it has really gripped a lot better than the Bridgestones that were on it. So in terms of the cost so far, so we've had to fill up the car at Dumbarton. So I filled up at York and then again at Dumbarton. I'll put the miles on the screen, I don't know how far that is. But the car is currently averaging 28 miles per gallon, which isn't too bad. I have been accelerating fairly hard, coming onto junctions and doing some swift overtakes. I've not been trying to get good economy, so I think I'm pretty happy with that, to be fair. And now I've filled up, I've got 357 miles in the tank. Nearly a full tank, it's just dropped a bar in between Dumbarton and here. So just getting the GoPro charged up, and then we're going to head on our way and hopefully capture some really nice scenery. I mean, it's very misty at the moment. It's probably the most misty it's been. It's normally really, really clear when I come through here, so I'm a bit gutted actually. Never driven through here with a GoPro, and the day I have, you can barely see anything. But hopefully it will still capture something. Right, let's get back to it. So like I've just said, these tyres have been really, really phenomenal. Like, I haven't really pushed the car as hard as I'd want to, but from what I've seen so far, they're really, really good, and I'd recommend them so far. So this journey is really long, so hopefully the content isn't too boring for you. I found it really hard because it's such a long drive. To stop and film and carry on, it's just quite challenging, and batteries only last so long. This journey does involve a ferry though, so that's quite interesting. It gives you an idea of how remote this place is that we're going to. Once we come off the ferry at the other side, I'll be able to get the GoPro mounted externally. I don't really dare do that through Glencoe and the surrounding area because the roads are quite busy, and I think if the GoPro comes off, there is just no chance of retrieving it at all. At least on the other side it's a lot quieter, and I think I should be able to pull up and run into the road and grab it. I have actually invested in a genuine GoPro mount, so I'm hoping it's not going to come off. Hopefully you're enjoying this scenery, and it is quite spectacular up here. So if you haven't been up to the Highlands, you need to get yourself here, because the driving roads up here are absolutely astonishing. And for a car like this, it's simply ideal. There's a few places I'm going to stop along the way and get some photos of the car and give you an idea of what it looks like around here. So going back to earlier, when the police stopped my wife, really, really annoying. I'm annoyed with myself because there's no excuse to forgetting an MOT. I'm normally really on the ball with it and have it in my calendar, and for some reason I just haven't. So it's been over a month and we haven't had an MOT on it. They got her on the ANPR machine, so it wasn't even a case of discretion. The police were left with no option but to fine us, and to be honest, we deserved it for that. I am normally a lot better with these things. I quickly went onto the DVLA to check this, just to make sure this was still MOT'd, and it is, but I was a bit worried at that point. So once we get to the house in Scotland, we're going to get the Golf booked in for an MOT. Bit of an impromptu MOT, but luckily there's a garage not too far. And we're allowed to carry on and get to the house, and then it can only go straight to a garage for an MOT, which is totally fair. In terms of how the car's performed, I mean, it's just amazing. On a long run, you would not believe how comfortable it is. It's surprisingly comfortable. The seats are really nice and supportive, and the aircon's nice because it's fairly warm out here today. Despite the rain, it is quite warm. So I got the aircon on, and I like my heated seat on at the same time. A bit weird, but that's how I like it. There is an amazing, amazing viewpoint coming up, so I'm going to pull over. I'm going to get some pictures of the car because it's going to look pretty incredible up here, to be fair. Well, that was a nice surprise. I've just pulled up at this amazing viewpoint, as you can see, and I've just found lots of like vintage cars. I don't even know what models they are. If anyone can identify any of those, just drop it in the comment. It'd be quite interesting. It seemed to be some sort of owners club. It was really cool to see that sort of thing up here. Very brave in this weather, but I've retreated back to the car for now. I really do hope this isn't actually that boring. I know that doesn't sound I'm not very confident in my videography skills just yet. These long journeys are just quite hard to do filmmaking, so apologies if it's a little bit boring, but a lot of you have been wondering what the car is like on a long run, and I think this is a really, really good opportunity just to break it down into little small chunks and explain what it's been like, really. Because often people buy these cars as daily drivers and you drive them quite a lot of miles. In fact, someone commented on a video a while back saying he was 80 miles a day and he was wondering whether I'd recommend one of these. Apart from the fuel costs, I'd probably say go for it. It's really, really comfortable and I'm quite happy sat here, to be honest. So anyway, we'll get the GoPro hooked up now and hopefully get some really good footage going up Glencoe. And then next stop will be the ferry. Car park's normally full, so I'll just climb up this little bank and we'll have a look and see what it's like. So check out that view. That is ridiculous. These roads are mega around here. Like I said earlier, I hadn't had a chance to test out the tyres, but you'll have just seen I was able to really give it some on some of those bends. The roads are sodden and the car just gripped like you would not believe, so the wet weather handling with those tyres on, unbelievable. The car just never ceases to amaze me, really. And with a backdrop like this, it's like something off James Bond. It is genuinely incredible up here, even with this horrible rain. It's still beautiful, isn't it? So anyway, let's get back to the car and head to the ferry because my wife is now, she's ended up getting on the ferry already, left me behind. Bloody hell, I'm not really dressed for this at all. But I just needed to go up there and show you that because it's just ridiculous up here. Oh, absolutely soaked now. Was worth it though to see that view. Absolutely ridiculous. So next stop is the ferry, unless I find another place like this along the way. Be rude not to pull over and get some photos, wouldn't it? And now to answer the question that absolutely nobody is asking. Can you get a Porsche Cayman S on the Corran ferry? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's do it. So yes would be the answer to that one. It does go on the Corran ferry, which is really, really good. I have actually been on it before, so I knew it would fit. It was a bit nerve-wracking the first time. I thought I was going to rip the front of the car off, but it's all good. So a little bit longer drive now, mainly single track roads, and then we'll get to our destination. You get to see the house. It's absolutely stunning where it is. It's not actually a million miles away from the viaduct where they filmed the Harry Potter train, so it's really beautiful around there. So as soon as we get off the ferry, we'll get the GoPro mounted on the roof and take on the last little bit of the journey, which will be about 40 minutes. So, you're here on this channel, not to look at the view, although that is absolutely stunning. You're here for me to talk about the car. So what has it been like on this over 300-mile journey up to the north of Scotland? Well, I don't think there's any other way to put it other than sublime. It's averaged around 28 to the gallon, it's been comfortable, it's been composed on the road. The drive up here has been perfect. These tyres are absolutely epic. They handle perfectly in the rain. We've had all sorts of weather, various temperatures. It's now 15 degrees and it's really, really warm actually. So the tyres have coped with pretty much every condition going, and I have to say, I'm very impressed. So anyway, I think I'm going to sign out the video there. I will do some B-roll so you can see where we are exactly, but I'm going to sign out there because I'm very tired. I've been on the road since 5 and it's now 2 o'clock, so it's getting late in the day. I'm really ready for a lie down now. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and until next time, bye.